and welcome to the Energy Talk. Thank you for joining us on the bonus episode. It's great to be here, and we have the rest of the team. So I'm Olubumi Olajide, the host, and the rest of the guys can introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Owoserahan.
All right, and lastly, Jennifer. I'm a regular here, so
Yeah, we should actually introduce Owosa. So she's working with us for a few months now. And so she is, the working title we have for her is the head of engagement. And if that sounds made up, it's because it is made up. Everything is made up.
It is made up.
So we're just going to
make it till you make it.
Yeah. So it's really great. It's been an exciting start to the season. Thank you to everyone who has come back with us, the new people who are just hearing our voices for the first time. So in this bonus episode, we try to keep things chill and just talk about things we've gone through throughout the week. So it's been a very good week. So I think what we should do is we should all say one thing that we picked up from all the episodes we had. So we've had 4 episodes so far. We completed a cycle. And we can just go with what was your biggest takeaway from any of the episodes. So you can only have one though. So who wants to go first?
So I absolutely enjoyed Meredith from Student Energy. I thought it was such a nice conversation to have and something I really picked up. And she spoke about starting from anywhere, like anyone can start talking and learning about energy right from any point. And I think that resonates with a lot of us actually. Well, I'm not really sure about you being studying it all your life and that. But say for instance, myself, like I didn't really come from that kind of background. So obviously her mentoring that, like I was like, yes, girl, like that is me. You just start from wherever you are to like learn about energy, learn about sustainability, learn about more about just how the world works around energy. So I really thought that was something I took out from all the sessions. So thank you, Meredith, for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, that was a great one. This is something that me and Jennifer talk about a lot. The fact that we have to kind of like step out of our comfort zones, because most of the time, especially now this season where we're talking about things like energy finance, especially that I have no clue about. So a lot of research. If you don't know, it's a lot of research sometimes when we interviewing guests that we're not very familiar with. And I guess I should say what my main takeaway was. And so I kind of jumped in front of Jennifer here, but it has to be Guled. So if you've not listened to the Guled episode, you have to listen to that. He's an amazing man who trades goats for solar home systems, and it's an amazing story. And it just shows how you can be creative in the way you can really be creative with the way you go about solutions, especially when you're in underdeveloped countries. So Guled is from Somalia, and they have lots of livestock. They don't have lots of money, and he wants to electrify rural communities that the grid doesn't reach. And the solution was to start trading his goods and supplies for goats. And if that does sound ridiculous, I won't give so much away. You need to listen to that episode to really appreciate just how creative and how many people are working in local communities to really come up with solutions to energy access and energy poverty. So that was a really big one for me. So that was my main takeaway from the last few episodes.
For me, I would say maybe I'm biased, but I think Girish's episode was one that really caught me. Maybe because we was talking about grassroots, because I'm mostly into the whole grassroots push-up, to see how we can bring everybody together from the grassroots, because that's like where the development needs to start from, not just from the top. It has to be like from the bottom up kind of thing. So his was particularly interesting for me, and how he mentioned how development is tying into technology and how it's tying into the way economic growth is also going. And something fascinating was how he related the growth in the use of use of energy in India to how it's affecting climate change and stuff like that. So it was really, really interesting to see the dynamics, and definitely also that of the other guy with I don't want to use the goat guy.
The goat guy is fine.
I mean, that does work. I think he's called the kilowatt per goat. Was it kilowatt hour per goat or something? Goat per hour?
Goat per kilowatt hour. But
So the
Goat Guy is such
kilowatt
a cool nickname, though. I don't think Guled would like that nickname. Goat Guy.
I don't think let's not do that. If I call you good guy, you definitely would not accept that. Well, I mean, it just makes you
Well,
stand
the
out.
goats for energy guy is pretty dope.
Okay,
I
okay.
mean, while we're at it.
Goat for energy guy.
Yeah,
Okay, I
so
like that.
goat
That's a
for
good one.
energy guy. Yes. So the goat for energy guy was really good. I liked how creative. I liked how creative he was able to think out of the box because honestly, not everybody can think like that, and not all markets are the same. So for him to actually sit and understand, that's something that really piqued my interest. So yeah, that was like my top two from this particular month.
I think like another thing that I really like was sorry. When I think like our earliest episodes, and that was with Sandra Deze, and she spoke about her reluctance and resilience with coming into a new environment and actually starting the climate change conversation and talking about renewables. So yeah, I really thought that was quite interesting as well. Although I know you said one, but we've had so many amazing guests on just this short period, so
Yeah, we
couldn't
did.
help ourselves, right?
And you know that's really the amazing thing with the podcast that we've been able to do. And so just having guests from different parts of the world, and when you start talking to them, so you could talk about the same thing and get someone from let's say Uganda, someone from India, someone from the USA, and someone from, let's say, Peru or something, whatever, talk about the same topic, and just because of where they're from and the unique experiences they have, the conversations take up
It's a
so
different
many different
conversation.
angles. Yeah, so that's really the most exciting part, because you think you can expect something when it comes to energy. You think it's all okay, you just get some renewable energy, you get solar, and you give it to them, and then they have lights in their houses. But when you really get into the stories and the processes behind it, that's when you truly start to appreciate all these people who are doing work in different places. So it's really been great. It's really been great learning from all these people.
Yeah, it's very inspirational as well.
So we have a few episodes coming up, but I don't think we should get into the habit of spoiling the episodes before they come up. So let's just not do that. So a bunch of there's been a bunch of energy news, and Osa actually has a lot of them. So do you have any that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, so it's something that I found really interesting for this 2020 actually, is this science called piezoelectricity, guys. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Like, I don't have a science or physics or maths background, but it's like a mechanical reaction that produces energy and electricity from our basic movements. So I initially actually started researching on this when after the ban on kekes and bikes in Lagos a few weeks ago, and there's a gentleman called Lawrence, and he actually invented a system called the Florintech, was it? Yeah, where as you walk on the streets, you're actually producing energy which can be used for electricity. And then you have other discoveries, like when you chew, you actually generate electricity as well. So you could be chewing gum and creating electricity, because our bodies actually creates energy, and it's something that new technologies and new investment and new innovations are harnessing into. So that's been really, really exciting for me. And there was also something else that I read about. Guys, we need to start cleaning our solar panels.
May I even ask you a question, please? What did you study again?
Yeah.
What did you?
I studied law. I'm a lawyer. I'm a qualified lawyer. It's just guys, just by the way.
How is you moving from law to physics to mechanical? Come on, you're intimidating me. I don't know about you, Oliver. Come on.
I don't know.
Come on.
Yeah.
Well, okay. All right then.
I think it's just interest. I mean, like Meredith said, you can really start from nowhere. So I actually didn't have any background in energy till about 3-4 years ago. It's just
how did it start, by the way, if I might digress?
My master's. So I did my master's in oil, gas, and mining law, and a part of one of the modules I took was actually on renewable energy and climate resilience. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then I just started researching more, and then I got a job straight after doing that. And I was like, okay. And it turns out you can actually be illegal in energy. So we're just going to work with both of that and see what happens. But it's good fun. Some things I just want to pick in is people should start thinking people should start thinking about cleaning their solar panels. Something I read a few articles over this week about how if we don't clean or wash our solar panels, which we put on our roofs, on our shelves, on our sheds, they actually get dusty, and they reduce how much the panels are able to absorb from the sun, and that reduces how much electricity from solar generation you're actually getting. So if there's anything from this that we learn, the next person you see with a solar panel, could you just quickly tell them to go clean out their panels just to dust it up a bit, because it is the material that needs to be.
I don't want to say this is general knowledge, but maybe because I'm in the industry.
No, honestly, I didn't even think about it, because I mean, when it rains, it washes off here.
Yeah,
sometimes.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but say in Nigeria, but say in countries like, it gets the Hamilton season has made everywhere really dusty, and
sure.
UK as well, because when it snows on my roof, there's snow on it, and unless I actually shove the snow out or allow the thing to melt by itself, it could actually make the solar panels deteriorate as well, because it's like the snow is cussing the panels. It's like heavy. I don't know how to explain it. There's a whole science to it. Anyway, you just need to take care of your your solar panels the same way you take care of your car and your body. It improves maintenance and shelf life as well. So,
with what you just said now, Ola, I'm so sorry to leave you hanging right there, but I'm going to come back to you. With what you just said now, you know the interesting thing about this group right now, we are actually diverse, honestly speaking.
We actually are.
Yeah. Ola is in oil and gas. I'm on the other hand in full-blown renewable energy. I'm trying to diversify to oil and gas too. And you, on the other hand, you have the whole law on your head. Like,
I'm learning from everyone.
You know when they say heavy is the head that wears the crown, that is you. Anyway, so
thanks, guys.
I'm going to backtrack a bit because what you said, it made me realize that off the top of my head, I would have said that was general knowledge, but there are certain things this is my industry, so I already know this thing. So it's pretty much general knowledge to me. But I fail to understand that it's ignorance on the other part for me to think that everybody thinks or is like me or knows or understands. So definitely true that. I mean, even regular dust from harmattans and all that, I have seen it happen real life from back at work and all, where, I mean, it all comes in December with the Christmas and everything back in January, and the whole dust will literally like halves your generation. Yeah, because it's quite important to do. I mean, some people do, some people fail to forget, hoping that, the natural one is just going to come and wipe the whole thing. But I think it's part of the things that solar companies also tie into their contract agreements with clients, but I don't know if they follow through on that. But then you're supposed to have like a quarterly check. I would want to believe that, so to make sure everything is all neat and tidy and working proficiently and all that.
So I'm actually going to backtrack a lot further to something Osa mentioned. What was it? The working energy thing. What was the name of that?
Yeah, so it's piezoelectricity.
Piezoelectricity. Okay. So she mentioned there was a ban. So in the city of Lagos in Nigeria, they were having some issues, to put it lightly, in our public transportation sector, and they banned the motorbikes and the tricycles from the roads. And I'm very passionate about this topic because I live in Lagos and it affected me. So yesterday I had to walk 40 minutes after getting on a cramped bus just to get to work. And it's something that I'm still...
this is the thing.
Excuse me, I have
Imagine
to
all the energy you could be producing.
So if I knew that my 40 minutes of walk time was at least generating some form of energy, maybe it'd make you feel a little bit better. Just a little bit better, but then that would give government.
You could charge your phone with that electricity produced.
No, because that would give governments less incentives to fix their public transportations, because then you just get citizens to generate free electricity when they walk, which I feel more cheated when I think about it that way. I'm really pissed off about this.
When people actually have to walk when it's late, and I know we can get it. We're supporting you from a distance. The thing that I got, the really big comment I got from people was that, why am I creating electricity for the government? But no, because the electricity you produce from walking on the streets lights up the streets, so they're transferred back into the street lights. And I mean, we can win. We should have street lights. I think that could be the beginning of development around here. But yeah, I understand. Nobody wants to be trekking for that distance to have light.
Jennifer, I'm actually going to throw this to you. Don't you think that if there was some sort of, because because we're doing a lot about energy finance this season, especially. So if there was a sort of like tax reduction for, let's say you work more than the average citizen or the average population, and you just get like a discount on your tax, or you just get some kind of rebate or something, just, oh, thank you for working so much. And then you give people an incentive, because incentives are very, very important. Make people want to work, not just doing it for free, because that sounds exploitative.
If you think about this, I think that Nigeria, or more like Africa, literally has like a different cultural mentality when it comes to working. I'm trying to see this from a very holistic point of view right now. In other developed countries, you see people actually walking rather than entering cars, and they find it really comfortable to do that. Or even riding bikes, and you can also generate this kind of electricity from even riding bikes, because you're riding your bike and you're exercising. So take it back to Nigeria, right? I would want to believe if this is what it is. It's pretty much hypothetical right now, because we don't even have the technology right there right now. But if it is, I may probably lots of bikes compared to walking, because walking might probably slow you down a bit, but taking a bike or using the bicycle probably take you faster to where you're going to.
Hey, Fit Farm 2020.
Yeah, which pretty much, thank you. Fit Farm, walking and everything.
But you're missing a very, very important point here.
Okay.
You're missing a very important point. The roads are horrible. They are not meant for walking. The infrastructure is horrible. So
we're gonna have to have a little you and you segment with the Lagos State government just to handle on that, really. Expected. Moving on to something that we had from a guest, who was actually here for the part of the week. So Ganesh actually spoke about collaborations and how we could be doing more. He said one particular phrase. I think it was kind of like we could be doing more collaborations for us to go farther, basically. And he was talking about how more countries need to come together, because whatever happens in Africa, in an African nation, in some instance affects everyone across the world. So I'm just going to give that to Olu. Olu, how well do you think the industry, energy, oil and gas sustainability have actually started having the conversation about getting more sustainable when it comes to their usages of power techniques or energy forms? Like, how well as nations, besides all the UN regulations and everything they have in the conventions in place, is there anything that inspires you to believe that more is actually happening, more collaborations are happening?
Okay, so if we have any listeners from the oil and gas space, you would relate to what I'm about to say. So in the oil and gas space, when it comes to global cooperation or global collaboration, it's not something that's very encouraged, if you will. So oil and gas has to do with a lot of geopolitics, a lot of messy deals, and then there's OPEC. So basically, just imagine the oil and gas sector. If you want to really, really simplify it, just imagine OPEC, headed by Saudi Arabia and some other oil producing and exporting countries. And then there's Russia producing a bulk of the world's natural gas. And then there's the USA, which is the USA. So these bodies have very, very little incentive to ever want to work together. And the only reason why some of them are agreeing to cooperate is because the oil prices are becoming so low, and they kind of have to work together to artificially sustain the oil prices so they don't completely flatline. And I know I'm oversimplifying this, but I think in the oil and gas space especially, there is a lot to be desired when it comes to collaboration. Just recently though, a lot more companies are working together to develop carbon capture and storage technology, which is something that I'm really excited about. So it's some companies in the US. I don't want to say their names because I might mix up the details, but it's something that the industry kind of came together, at least some companies, and said, okay, this is something that could actually work for us, especially carbon pricing, which is another interesting piece of policy. And BP has been very vocal about the fact that they want it. So right now we're seeing a change of tides about collaboration in the oil and gas industry. But it's not really enough, and it's not brought out of genuine collaborations because they kind of have to do it to survive. Which I guess, whatever makes you do the right thing at the end of the day is a good reason. But yeah, so but coming away from that and just coming to us, so with the podcast, we're trying a lot to collaborate. And it's something we put a lot of effort into doing. We've not gotten it right because we're still talking about things like partnerships, sponsorships. So we're very young, and as for us, we're just trying to find our feet, and it's really exciting to figure these things out. They're very good problems to have, and I think in the global energy sector, collaboration is something we're going to see a lot of going forward into the future.
But I always say something. When you say we're very young, I think it just gives us reason to make more mistakes and not even like act up or like do necessary things. I mean, we keep saying we're very young. Oh, we're a young country. Oh, I'm like, come on, like, nah, man.
I mean, everyone did start somewhere though. Like all the countries was once a young country.
Like I cringe each time people keep saying, "Oh, come on, yes." I mean, how old are you? Oh my God, you're still young. I'm like, come on, nah, don't do that. Don't do that. I'm like, now it's a young country. Oh, we're very young. We're just growing. I'm like, nah.
That's not it.
Come back in the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you're still growing.
and then see what's happening.
Can you imagine?
That does sound like a convenient excuse, but it's the truth, though. It is the truth.
It is. Okay, so my other question actually will probably be for Jennifer. So at the whole issue with the trading, for instance, in Asian, like not a trading, but the health scare of the coronavirus happening in Asian countries, and obviously the issues of people actually not wanting to trade or anything with that. So we noticed that a lot of African, West Africa, a lot of other countries actually import a lot of things when it comes to renewable energy appliances, so solar panels, inverters, batteries. A lot of that is actually imported into other countries. Like I know for sure, like in Africa, some African nations do not produce solar panels, so they have to import from other countries, majority of which comes from China.
Yeah.
So with all these kind of health scares, how is that really going to affect, or how is that, if you've noticed anything, is that affecting the way the prices of these things, the markets of it, and more people are now looking at creating or actually coming with their own solutions for renewable energy? Or is this just a thing of like, when everything is okay, we'll start trading, or we'll start doing the markets will be back as usual? Like what is the impact for things like this to smaller countries or developing nations where they're trying to figure their renewable energy like sense of technology?
Oh, this is a pretty good question. So I don't know about other countries, but I know in Nigeria, I know one particular company. I'm not sure if there is more than one at the moment, but I know one that actually couples together like solar accessories, so like from the full panel itself. And obviously, I want to believe they get their materials from China and all sorts. Right now, with the virus and everything that's happening in China and the Asian community, I don't know. I mean, I would want to believe, obviously, everything has probably paused because, I mean, nobody's trying to even leave their houses. So definitely business is on the down low right now where they are. And I just would want to hope that it's not affecting. It definitely will, because it definitely will always have a ripple effect on the way things are. But then, I mean, let's look at the prices of, I mean, no flights are going into this community, and even if they are relatively very cheap right now. So, I mean, it's either that or countries will have to start looking for ways to help themselves, find alternative means to produce their own materials. And I don't think China is like the only country that actually produces these things. Like there are other countries. I know the US does, but those are really expensive. I think either the US, Canada, or Germany. I think, because I know that there are panels that come from those regions, but then they're pretty pricey. They're not as affordable as the ones from China, or as affordable as the accessories you can couple back in the country with. So there's definitely an effect to that. But then it all depends on how long the whole thing carries, because I would want to believe that people that must have bought already have, like, people buy in bulk, right? So they always have like enough stock down. Yeah. But then when they run out, maybe we'll visibly start seeing the effects of the way things are. But I mean, I would even want to believe their markets in Asia right now is all like, it's all on negatives because of what's happening.
Yeah. I really hope. I think that's going to introduce. Yeah, please.
Yeah, I'm really sorry to jump in here, but I was attending this webinar a few days ago, and someone brought up the fact that how the coronavirus was actually affecting energy, and it was a connection that I didn't make. So I actually started doing some research about it, and the oil prices are dropping just a little bit. I mean, they've always been dropping throughout the year, but and part of it is because there is a oversupply and under demand because China it's really not producing at capacity that it usually does. So it's really interesting how an event in a country like China with the coronavirus is having such a wide scale effect, especially in energy. And I think that that's just really, really interesting way it's affecting the renewable energy in terms of like manufacturing and oil and gas, because they have a very huge demand for oil and gas. So it's just really interesting how this geopolitical event has really like manifested itself in different ways in the energy industry. I just found that very, very interesting last week.
And it's not just energy right now, because China is more like the Asian community, like the whole, mostly for manufacturing. Like most phones are either like the raw materials are either made there and moved to other countries and being coupled there. So definitely everything right now is literally on a halt because of what's happening there. I mean, nobody's even wanting to go there. And I don't know, there was some news about a ship, Marco Polo or something, that kept like still hasn't landed or still hasn't docked or something, because people are scared that, in quote, that, I mean, they don't know if the inhabitants of the ship have
it. Yeah,
exactly. So I mean, it's
all our love and condolences to everyone who's actually been affected by this. We hope it comes a bit soon. So just one quick thing, going back to Glued, our what's it called, Goods for Energy Man. Yes. So we are just gonna like maybe have a chat about trading, like animal trading for renewable equipment or for energy. And do we feel like this is a way of going back to trade by barter? And do you think that more countries or more communities are going to start introducing, give me your goods for a solar battery, give me your cows for a hydrothermal pumping machine, give me your any other possession you have, but I want to try to be sustainable. I want to have electricity. So do we think this is a fate that's going to be picked up by other countries, or it's just a thing for, Ganesh's little community that he's trying to change?
You know what? I think that to each individual his own, right? So I mean, you would never have thought that this would come up at this point in time, which then goes further to say that nothing literally like elapses itself. Nothing goes out of not as in nothing ever finishes. Like, it's possible that things that still happened in the 1800s might probably come back again. You get so. But what I'm trying to, what I see here is, it probably would happen just on the rural area level, the grassroots level. But then when you try to ramp it up to, say, modern life or the urban communities, it's almost impossible to have that, because if it on the rural community, I'm pretty sure that probably like population would not be more than, the population is a thing that has to be taken care of, one, because I mean, if you're looking at an urban setting, it's definitely a lot more for you to handle. And I mean, how many goods do you want to take, or how many carries, or how many drills, or whatever? So technology is playing its part mostly. And one thing I always say is, technology first of all starts in urban settings before it like gets into the rural area. So most times these guys will have to find ways to take care of themselves, which is what he's doing.
Yeah,
exactly, which is what he's doing. Like, he's finding a way to take care of what is happening. Yeah, like he's finding a way to take care of what's happening around his own settlement, around his own community, and not thinking of the bigger picture. So you start small, then you can expand. And from there, you can start thinking, okay, if I maybe stop the goats or limit the goats to just this area and do something a little more on that area. So, I mean, I don't see it going further than just a rural thing among communities and among settlements and different villages and all that. But if you go up a scale of ramping it up to a community level or to an urban setting, I doubt if it's actually going to scale. I don't even think it's going to work. Like, this is something that, I mean, with the way technology is definitely going to outbeat it. So,
yeah. So one more thing about this is we can't really eliminate the fact that this is obviously a risky practice, because you can't exactly validate or verify that the goat is healthy or it doesn't have a disease or it's not. Basically,
yeah, that's very true.
It's a really difficult business model to pitch to an investor because you don't have like how do you explain liquidity? How do you explain liquidity when you're talking about goats? So I think it's a
more so, how do you even handle the maintenance and the other administratives that come from running a solar system? Like these things are not. It's not just a one-off thing. It's not like it wasn't as easy as yam for goats or chicken for cats. If you saw solar systems like that, definitely something always either goes wrong. It's either there's low production or there's something. As in, there's definitely either your cutouts or your wires or your distribution box or whatever. So you have to start finding who, and definitely you need to have access and you need to have information on who you did, and I don't think he has that. So I don't know what the system is over where it is, but I just don't see it as scalable. I mean, if I'm to key into the words of Robert Shore, I mean, he sees things from a different perspective. I think his thought level is like 100 and something, of which he's thinking of it in a technological way. That is just two disparities. Like it's way far off. It's good. I love what he's doing, but please continue what you're doing. Like just let it like be there. Like just push it on there. But if you try to want to move up, it will hit you hard when you start seeing all the problems that comes with it. So.
You know what? I think that's a perfect place to leave it out. And I want to push this out to you, the listeners. What do you think about the goat for solar for solar home systems in general? And what do you think about trying to finance this kind of project in rural communities where they don't have so much spending power? So let us know your opinion about everything else we discussed today. We would love to hear from you. So join the conversation on Twitter and Instagram at The Energy Talk Anywhere, or email us. We'd love to hear back.
Why are you rushing? Where are you running to?
Okay. I'm slowing down.
Yeah.
Okay. Radio host voice. So thank you so much for joining us this week. It's been wonderful. So for myself, Jennifer, and Owosa, we really like all the support we've gotten, and we hope it continues until the next cycle when we hear our beautiful voices again. So thank you guys, and so everybody say goodbye.
Thank you. And don't forget to subscribe on our Instagram, Twitter pages, and LinkedIn.
Yes, please.
Bye.
Okay. Have a wonderful week, everybody.